So, well, let's start over, I guess. No, 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 no. Thought my mic was on. Anyway, you know what? Let's just keep going. So, as I said, I watched that over the weekend. And first, let me tell you, that was a great movie. I usually don't care for horror movies because they're boring. And honestly, to me, they're kind of predictable. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of them. So now, my main number one horror movie is Evil Dead, the original trilogy. I've watched the newer ones, and they're all right, but they just don't hit to me like the way the original one with Bruce Campbell. But let's talk about let's go back to Obsession and let's talk about some theories I've been seeing, some of my own. So Obsession. So you've got this group of friends, and this one friend is like he thinks he's in love. To me, he thinks he's in love with this girl, and he wants her to love him so badly that and I'm guessing he's like really shy or introverted. I don't know what the deal is on him, as in why he can't tell her. And I know that happens. I know there's people on both sides that really, really like someone, but they can't never bring themselves to tell that person. So he finds this thing called a one wish willow, and he makes his wish. Well, you have to break it. Well, you have to make your wish and break it. His wish was for her to love him more than anything in the world. And so it hits right away because she's standing in that door frame on the porch, whatever, and comes up to him, talking all that stuff. And then I noticed that at one point, and she does this throughout the movie, that she snaps out of it. And here's the thing. I noticed it. I was kind of noticing it then, but there's certain points in the movie you have to wonder how it's happening. But she just like, oh, what, like that. But I noticed it's when she looked at the side view mirror. I didn't think nothing of it at the time. But later on, there's points in the movie where she snaps out of it and sees her real self. And it seems to be when there's like something that she can see her image in. Now, the big one, when she's on that bed kissing him, she snaps out of it then. People are like, well, what, no reflection? I think she saw herself in his eyes and it snapped out. Now, the problem with that, though, also is there's times in the movie that she should be seeing herself in his eyes, like when they're kissing, when they're looking at each other, and this and that. So, do you think that when she's seeing herself, is it causing her to snap out of it? I do, and I think she saw herself in his eyes. That's why then. Of course, then when she sleep, the real her takes over. But the lengths that she goes to. Now, I've also seen and heard a theory that her cat, or his cat, because he has a cat that's died in the beginning of the movie, took over, right, possessed her. I don't subscribe to that. That's just a little far fetched. But then again, we are talking about he snaps at and it happened. And then there's a scene in there where at the store and the new age store. First time he goes in there, it's a woman working the counter. Second time, it's a man. People says that the lady at the counter made a wish to be a man, and that happened. So, and who knows? That's probably true. But what I really like about the movie is it makes you think about the obsession and who's obsessed. Yeah, they try to throw it in your face. She's the obsessed one because no matter what, she's always wanting to be around him. She's always wanting to be there with him, and to the point that she can't seem to function without him around. Like there's that one scene when he leaves for work. She just stands there in one spot all day, pees and throws up and poops and all that. Um, but um, but yeah, so they try to make it like, oh, she's the one that the movie's after, obsession. She's obsessed with him because of this wish. But is it really her or is it him? Because he is obsessed with her to the point where he makes this wish. And did his obsession go to her? Because he is so obsessed with her, so badly wanting to be with her, that he goes to this length of making this wish. So maybe the obsession is from him. And then when he makes this wish, the wish morphs her into the obsession that he had for her. It puts her, it makes her the way he obsessed over her, the way he wanted her to be. So that obsession he has spreads to her. Now she has it for him. And there's times throughout the movie he could have stopped it. So, well, honestly, at one point he does try to stop it. He gets one of those wish willows, but you can only make one wish, so he can't break it. And then he goes to his friend to try to help, but his friend wishes for like $1 billion, and money just starts falling. And then uh, the other friend in the group, I think Sarah was her name. She wants to talk with him, and they're out in the car while I think Nikki was sleeping. And Bear, the main character guy, he goes out there and talks to Sarah, and they're talking and all that. Sarah is about to tell him that she has feelings for him. Now all of a sudden, here comes Nikki, bashes her head into the steering wheel. Bam, 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 bam. She's got a brick too. That's how she breaks window. Bam. And then when she stops, she looks at him and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to say that." I'm like, dang. And then, of course, it just goes from there. And Bear's told that the only way he can break the wish is if he kills himself. So then he does try to do that. And then if you're paying attention, he takes a bunch of pills. He regrets that decision. He's trying to throw them up. He's in the process of throwing them up. Then you hear in the background the music that little wish willow plays, and then a snap, and then his mood changes. I knew that was coming. You can almost predict that. This is what my two predictions were. I was thinking one or two things was going to happen. Either that Sarah, that other friend that likes him, she was going to make a wish on Bear, or that Nikki is eventually going to get a hold of this and use it on Bear. And I was right with the second one. Those were the two ones I was thinking going to happen. But of course, he does die because he took all those pills and all that. Once he dies, Nikki snaps out of it, and then the movie goes away with her screaming and crying and all that. But I like the premise of the movie, the obsession, and it makes you think about who's really obsessed with who and all that. So, me personally, I think it's a great horror thriller movie. I highly recommend it. I mean, I don't do movie reviews, so, but I'll give it a review. If I had to review it, I'd give it 4.4 stars. This I'm doing stars. I know with my food channel I do Bear Claw. But when I was watching it, the whole time I was thinking, what the F? I mean, man. So, like I said, horror movies don't really do nothing for me because, like I said, it seems like they're always boring and predictable. Like, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street's good. Freddy's, or Jason's good, and they're good. They weren't never to me great. They bored me. Evil Dead was like the only one that ever really messed with me and got me. But I watched that when I was young. I watched Evil Dead back almost when it was a new movie. And at that point, I was probably, well, it wasn't new. It done been out about a few years. So I was probably about 8 or 9 when I watched Evil Dead. So, I wanted to get that out there. I want to talk about this. Like I said, I recommend it's called Obsession. And tell me in the comments what your take is. What are your theories? What do you think? I think when she saw her reflection, like most people said, she snaps out of it. She comes back to her real self. But then, as they call it in the movie, Freaky Nikki takes back over. And that's another thing. I think Freaky Nikki was kind of the trigger also in a way that, because he got advice from, I think Ian was the boy's name, his other friend, saying, call her Freaky Nikki, even though she hates that name. Call her, because that kind of like insult a lady and she'll like you and all that. That's crap. Don't do that. Don't insult a lady. Treat her with respect. Treat a lady with respect and be nice. But, maybe that was a Freaky Nikki side. But either way, I feel like his obsession went to her, and the way he obsessed over her was maybe whatever caused this wish to come true was like, gave it to her, and this is how he wanted it. He was so obsessed with her that he wanted that obsession back. He wanted her to obsess over him to that point. So, like I said, he kind of spread his obsession to her. So, but yeah, tell me what you think. Leave your theories. Leave your comments. Did you like it? Did you not? If you did like it, tell me why. If not, tell me why. If you thought the movie sucked, tell me why you thought it sucked. Hey, let's have a good discussion on this. So leave a comment. And once again, I'm your favorite middle school math teacher, Mr. Grizzly. And remember, 1 + 1 is 2. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Let's have a conversation about this movie. And until next time.